All right, part A, determine his average speed during warm-up and cool down. So I'm going to go and highlight the required details from the question. So for the warm-up, it says it's 2 kilometers and 12 minutes. And it's actually the exact same for the cool down. So this runner is pretty consistent. They're able to hit their paces. It's still 2 kilometers in 12 minutes. So it's going to be the same average speed no matter whether we're talking about the warm up or the cool down. So let's calculate that. Okay, so I'm going to list out the things I know along with their variables. So the distance, d, equals 2.0 km. The time, delta t, equals 12 minutes. And the average speed is what I have to find out. So v sub av equals a question mark. I like to use a question mark to represent what I'm supposed to find out. So this is going to be done with the average speed formula, which is average speed equals distance divided by time. Now I'll substitute the values. So that would be 2.0 divided by 12. Now I'll put that into my calculator. And my calculator is giving me 0.16 repeated. So I'm going to round this using the significant figures rules to 2 significant figures, since the numerator and denominator both have 2 sig figs. So that would round to 0.17. And I want to make sure I put the correct units on for this. So I'm looking for units of speed. And in this case, it would be kilometers per minute. Just looking at the list I wrote at the beginning, I know my speed is going to be in kilometers per minute. All right, that's part A. Part B, how much distance does he cover during each easier effort? So I'm going to read my question carefully and look for where it says easier effort, right here, easier effort. And the info they give me about the easier effort is that it is 0.18 kilometers per minute. So just a little bit faster than the warm-up pace. And it also says 3 minutes. So that's the time for each of the easier efforts. So I'm going to go ahead and start writing the solution for part B. So I'll make my list. My average speed is 0.18 kilometers per minute. My time, delta t, is 3.0 minutes. And what I'm supposed to find out is the distance. It's asking me for the distance. D equals a question mark. So I can actually use the same formula, just rearrange it for distance. So here's our regular formula. Got to get d by itself. That's going to be done by multiplying both sides by delta t, or some people will say move delta t over to the other side. I'm not worried too much about how you say it. I just want you to write it down properly though. So it's going to end up being average speed times time. I can substitute the values. That would be 0.18, times 3.0. And that would be 0.54. 2 significant figures. I don't have to do any rounding because it's supposed to have 2 significant figures. And then the units. So I'm looking for units of distance. I check the units I have written in my list there, and things are going to cancel out to give me kilometers at the end of the day. All right, so 0.54 kilometers, or just a little bit more than half a kilometer for each of the easier efforts. All right, now part C. Determine his average speed for the entire workout. Okay, so the entire workout has got a warm up. It's got 6 repeats, 6-kilometer repeats, and it's got a cool down. I'm going to try to be a little clever here and organize this as a table. Where I'm going to figure out the total distance and the total time. So let me just let me add one more column at the end called total, where I'll write down the total. All right, so for the warm-up, my distance is 2 kilometers, and my time, my time for the warm-up is 12 minutes, and it's the same thing for the cool down. All right, the 6 repeats require a little bit more digging around, reading the question here. So the distance of each repeat is 1 kilometer. These are called kilometer repeats for the hard effort part. And for the easier effort part, we should take our answer from part B of 0.54. So, and he doesn't just do one of them, he does 6 of them. So the total distance for the repeats is going to be 6 times 1.0 plus 0.54, whatever that is. Now in terms of the time, again, he's going to do 6 repeats, so it's going to be 6 times. So let's find out the times for the hard and easy efforts. So the hard effort's 4.33 minutes. And the easy effort is 3 minutes. So the overall time is going to be 6 times 4.33 plus 3.0. All right, so I'll do the math across the rows, add them up to get the total for each. So let's get my calculator here. So I'm getting 13.24. Kilometers as a total distance. And now let's add up the times. I'm getting 67.98. So in terms of sig figs or decimal places, to get these totals, I used addition. So I'm going to go by decimal places here. So for distance, it looks like the fewest amount of decimal places is 1 decimal place. So I'm going to use this underlining to 1 decimal place there. And for time, looking at those 12 values, those are whole numbers. So my answer should be rounded to the nearest whole number. So I'm going to underline up to the nearest whole number there. I'm not going to round it yet, though, because I'm not at my final answer yet. I'm still going to use all these digits in subsequent calculations, but I'm using this underlining to keep track of the significant figures for now. So I'll finish this off, determine the average speed for the total workout. Same formula, distance over time, using these totals. So I'll get that in my calculator. So I'm getting 0.19 when I round it to 2 sig figs. That'll be kilometers per minute. All right. In the running world, people don't usually go around saying I ran at a speed of 0.19 kilometers per minute. They usually flip that, take the reciprocal, which would be slightly more than 5. So a runner would say, I ran at like about 5 minutes per kilometer for this workout. But for physics, we'll use kilometers per minute.